The Sermon on the Mount had revealed the heart of Jesus' teaching, but words were not all he offered. His authority extended over every realm, visible and invisible. Storms obeyed him, demons fled before him, and the broken found healing in his presence. One day Jesus said to his disciples, "Let us go over to the other side of the lake." They left the crowd and got into a boat. Other boats followed. It was evening. Jesus, exhausted from teaching, lay down in the stern and fell asleep on a cushion. Without warning, a furious squall came up. The Sea of Galilee was notorious for sudden storms. Cold air rushed down from the surrounding hills, colliding with warm air rising off the water. Calm could turn to chaos in minutes. The waves broke over the boat so that it was nearly swamped. Water poured in. The disciples, several of them experienced fishermen, fought to keep the vessel upright. They knew this sea. They knew its dangers. But Jesus slept. They woke him. "Teacher, don't you care if we drowned?" The question carried more than fear. It carried accusation. How could he sleep while they were dying? Jesus got up. He rebuked the wind and said to the waves, "Quiet, be still." The word translated quiet was the same word he used when commanding demons. He spoke to the storm as he spoke to unclean spirits. The wind died down. The waves fell flat. Complete calm. Then Jesus turned to his disciples. "Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith?" They were terrified, more afraid now than during the storm. Who is this? Even the wind and the waves obey him. They had seen healings. They had heard teachings, but this was different. The forces of nature itself responded to his voice. They reached the other side of the lake, the region of the Gerasenes. It was Gentile territory. Pigs roamed the hillsides. The Jewish disciples were far from home. When Jesus got out of the boat, a man with an impure spirit came from the tombs to meet him. This man was not merely troubled. He was violently possessed. He lived among the tombs, naked and wild. People had tried to chain him, but he broke the chains. Night and day he cried out and cut himself with stones. When he saw Jesus from a distance, he ran and fell on his knees in front of him. "What do you want with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? In God's name, don't torture me." The demons recognized Jesus. They knew who he was. They feared what he could do. Jesus asked, "What is your name?" "My name is Legion, for we are many." A Roman legion was 6,000 soldiers. The name suggested overwhelming occupation. This man was a battlefield. The demons begged Jesus repeatedly not to send them out of the area. A large herd of pigs was feeding on the nearby hillside. "Send us among the pigs. Allow us to go into them." Jesus gave them permission. The impure spirits came out and went into the pigs. The herd, about 2,000 in number, rushed down the steep bank into the lake and were drowned. Those tending the pigs ran off and reported this in the town and countryside. People came to see what had happened. They found the man who had been possessed by the legion of demons sitting there, dressed and in his right mind. The wild man of the tombs was calm. The naked man was clothed. The isolated outcast was restored. And the people were afraid. They pleaded with Jesus to leave their region. The loss of the pigs troubled them more than the restoration of the man. The disruption to their economy mattered more than the liberation of a soul. Jesus got back into the boat. The man who had been demon-possessed begged to go with him, but Jesus did not let him. "Go home to your own people. Tell them how much the Lord has done for you, and how he has had mercy on you." The man went away and began to tell in the Decapolis how much Jesus had done for him, and all the people were amazed. He became a witness in Gentile territory. The good news was spreading beyond Jewish borders. Jesus crossed back to the other side. A large crowd gathered around him by the lake. A synagogue leader named Jairus came and fell at Jesus' feet. "My little daughter is dying. Please come and put your hands on her so that she will be healed and live." Jesus went with him. As they walked, a woman who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years pressed through the crowd. She had suffered greatly under many doctors. She had spent all she had, and instead of getting better, she grew worse. She thought, "If I just touch his clothes, I will be healed." She reached out and touched his cloak. Immediately her bleeding stopped. She felt in her body that she was freed from her suffering. Jesus stopped. "Who touched my clothes?" The disciples were confused. The crowd was pressing against him from all sides. Everyone was touching him. But Jesus knew that power had gone out from him. The woman, trembling with fear, fell at his feet and told him the whole truth. "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering." While Jesus was still speaking, messengers came from Jairus' house. "Your daughter is dead. Why bother the teacher anymore?" Ignoring what they said, Jesus told Jairus, "Don't be afraid. Just believe." He allowed only Peter, James, and John to follow. When they arrived at the house, they found a commotion of weeping and wailing. "Why all this commotion? The child is not dead, but asleep." They laughed at him. Jesus put them all out. He took the child's father and mother and went in where the child was. He took her by the hand and said, "Talitha cum," "Little girl, I say to you, get up." Immediately the girl stood up and began to walk around. She was 12 years old. Her parents were completely astonished. Authority over storms, authority over demons, authority over disease, authority over death itself. The kingdom was breaking in.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Life of Jesus, Early Life and Galilean Ministry. If this display of Christ's power moved you, please subscribe, like, and share. In the next episode, Jesus will call a tax collector named Matthew and begin to face growing opposition from religious leaders who question his companions and his methods.